Have you ever found yourself wandering through the aisles of a store, perhaps selecting ingredients for dinner, or savoring a leisurely stroll in the park, when suddenly it appears once more? The unwelcome, embarrassing, and frustrating sensation lingers, a shadow that refuses to fade. You attempt to dismiss it, feigning indifference. You adjust your position, crossing your legs, perhaps sharing a light laugh with a companion. Yet, beneath the surface, a question lingers. Why does this persist in my life? Is this merely a facet of aging? Will I ever experience a sense of normalcy again? Should you have ever experienced a slight mishap or found yourself hurrying to the restroom only to fall short? Allow me to express this. You are not solitary in your journey. This is not merely a burden to endure as the years pass by. Many senior women, perhaps even yourself, have been silently grappling with the issue of bladder leaks, overwhelmed by a sense of shame, experiencing a sense that your autonomy is gradually fading, concerned that someone could catch on, feeling anxious about venturing out, spending the night away, and embarking on lengthy drives, or perhaps merely enduring the rituals of church or the gatherings of a family dinner. Yet, the reality that often goes unspoken is that this situation transcends mere accidents. It revolves around the essence of dignity, assurance, embracing a life unburdened by fear. Let us delve into the matter at hand, with transparency. To be frank, because, can you believe it? Medical professionals have pinpointed 8 common habits that may be contributing to those occasional leaks, and for numerous women, simply altering 1 or 2 of these behaviors can lead to significant improvements. In this video, I will guide you through each of these habits, actions you may be engaging in at this very moment, unaware of the significant impact they could be having on your bladder. Moreover, I will guide you on how to reclaim your control, beginning today. This transcends the mere concern of a damp mark on your trousers. This is a journey towards reclaiming your life, the essence of your liberation, your tranquility of spirit. Thus, if you have ever experienced feelings of frustration or embarrassment, if you find yourself weary of managing bladder leaks, I encourage you to join me for the next few moments. Answers are what you rightfully seek. Relief is your rightful claim. Indeed, you have found yourself in the perfect spot. Please feel free to share your thoughts. I'm present and ready to engage if any of this resonates with you. Let us demonstrate to one another that solitude is but an illusion. Be sure to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we engage in meaningful discussions about the real issues that resonate in this stage of life, approached with honesty, compassion, and an absence of judgment. Very well. Let us explore the 8 habits that medical professionals advise against if you aim to permanently overcome the issue of involuntary urination. We shall begin with the first habit, and this one may catch you off guard. Reducing water intake to prevent leaks. At first glance, that likely seems quite reasonable. Wouldn't you agree? If your bladder is experiencing leaks, it likely indicates that it has reached its capacity. Therefore, reducing your fluid intake may lead to fewer mishaps. Isn't that so? Actually, that's not quite right. Allow me to introduce you to Rita. At 72, she resides in solitude, finding joy in nurturing her quaint backyard garden. One day, she began to realize that she was experiencing bladder leaks during her strolls in the early evening. Thus, she resolved to forgo any water consumption after the hour of 5 in the evening. Initially, she believed it was effective. Yet, in just a matter of days, she began to experience dizziness, a sense of lightheadedness, and an unsettling bout of constipation. Her mouth perpetually felt parched, her vitality diminished, and oddly enough, the leaks persisted, intensifying rather than fading. What is the reason behind this? When you fail to consume adequate water, your body succumbs to dehydration. When your bladder lacks sufficient clean fluid, the urine turns concentrated, more acidic, and increasingly irritating. The sensitivity of the bladder lining increases, rendering it more prone to spasms. What about those spasms? They evoke a sharp sense of immediacy, a compelling sensation that you must act without delay or face the consequences. While it may seem that reducing water intake would lead to fewer leaks, it paradoxically places greater strain on your bladder. It may come as a surprise, yet dehydration frequently affects older adults, particularly women. When hydration levels dip, the bladder can become agitated, overly active, and significantly more challenging to manage. Here lies the superior method. Take small sips of water throughout the day. Avoid chugging. Embrace a steady rhythm of hydration. Have a water bottle or glass within reach. Indeed, reducing fluid intake 1 to 2 hours prior to bedtime can help prevent those unwelcome awakenings in the middle of the night. However, do not deprive your body of water. Indeed, a tranquil, well-hydrated bladder presents a far simpler challenge than one that is parched and inflamed. One need not endure thirst to remain unscathed by the elements. At this moment, water stands as a singular entity. However, let us delve into the other beverages you may be consuming that could be causing greater harm than you are aware of. Habit number 2, excessive caffeine consumption. Allow me to present to you Margaret. At 68, she has embraced retirement, savoring the tranquility of her mornings spent on the porch. What does her daily routine entail? A steaming cup of coffee cradled in hands as the sun begins to rise. Next came another meal, this time breakfast. Typically, there's another by mid-morning. By noon, she had consumed 3 cups, and each day, as if by some unyielding routine, she found herself hurrying to the bathroom throughout the afternoon, at times achieving it. At times, it may not be the case. Initially, Margaret dismissed it entirely. "It's merely coffee," she would remark. However, what transpired behind the curtain was quite different. Caffeine, found in coffee, tea, sodas, and even certain chocolates, serves as a diuretic, signaling your kidneys to expel water more rapidly. Moreover, it serves as a stimulant for the bladder. The bladder muscles become increasingly active, more prone to sudden twitches, and significantly more likely to contract unexpectedly. As you indulge in multiple cups of coffee or tea throughout the day, you are essentially signaling to your bladder, "Prepare yourself, for we have a busy schedule ahead." There exists a prevalent misunderstanding. Many individuals believe that only alcohol is responsible for inducing urgency. Yet, caffeine frequently emerges as the more insidious antagonist, particularly since it finds its way into our daily routines, seldom prompting our scrutiny. There's no need to part ways with your beloved mug completely, yet it is certainly worth the endeavor of experimentation. Consider making the switch to decaf, or perhaps explore the calming embrace of herbal teas such as chamomile or rooibos. Should you still crave your morning boost, consider restricting it to a single cup and steering clear of any caffeine post-lunch. When your bladder is free from the constant jabs of stimulants, it begins to unwind, and in turn, so do you. Now, turning our attention to habits, let us delve into one of the most insidious culprits of all. It is not contained within a cup or a bottle. You likely engage in this activity daily, often unaware of its significant impact on your bladder. The third habit to address is the detrimental effect of poor posture while seated. Allow me to introduce you to Louise. At the age of 75, she resides with her daughter and grandchildren. She dedicates much of her day to a snug recliner, indulging in her beloved shows, knitting, or simply unwinding. Initially, it appeared to be the ideal method for unwinding, but then the backache began to set in, and then came the hip pain. Subsequently, the pressure within the bladder. Before long, she discovered herself grappling with the urge to relieve herself, despite having consumed little liquid. She found herself enveloped in a haze of uncertainty. She had altered nothing, save for the amount of time she devoted to sitting. What often escapes the notice of many is this: slouching for extended durations inadvertently compresses your bladder, often without your awareness. The delicate balance of your pelvic organs, bladder, uterus, and bowel, is upheld by a complex web of muscles and ligaments. However, when you lean forward or settle into a recliner lacking support, the pressure redistributes, moving both forward and downward. As time passes, this exerts pressure on the pelvic floor, the essential ensemble of muscles tasked with maintaining stability and aiding in the regulation of when and how you relieve yourself. Surprisingly, posture often escapes our consideration in discussions about bladder health. Here's a straightforward solution. As you settle into your seat, particularly during extended periods, ensure that your feet rest flat upon the ground, your back finds support, and your spine stands tall, maintaining an upright posture that is firm yet relaxed. A modest lumbar cushion positioned behind your lower back can create a significant impact. Make an effort to avoid remaining seated for longer than 30 to 45 minutes without taking a moment to stand up and stretch or take a brief walk. Your posture extends beyond mere alignment of the spine. It revolves around safeguarding the intricate system that ensures your bladder remains in optimal health. However, mere posture is insufficient, not if the very muscles that bind it all are already feeble. This leads us to the fourth habit, neglecting pelvic floor exercises. This resonates deeply with many women, particularly those who have experienced childbirth, menopause, or the inevitable journey of aging. Joan has reached the age of 70. She nurtured 4 children and spent the majority of her life on her feet, toiling tirelessly. For years, she regarded the sporadic bladder leaks as an inevitable consequence of aging. She believed it was just a part of life. Yet, no one ever shared the secret of Kegels with her. Your pelvic floor muscles function as a supportive sling, securing your bladder, uterus, and bowel in their rightful positions. However, akin to any other muscle, they diminish in strength over time if we fail to engage them. As those muscles continue to weaken, your control over the timing and manner of your movements diminishes. A prevalent misconception exists, suggesting that pelvic floor exercises are solely intended for young women or new mothers. However, I must emphasize that those women who truly require them are often the ones who have already experienced rich, vibrant lives. Women such as yourself, there's no requirement for elaborate gear. A gym membership is not a necessity. Merely a handful of minutes each day, whether you find yourself brushing your teeth, engrossed in a television show, or reclining in the comfort of your bed. Engage those muscles as if you're attempting to halt the stream of urine. Maintain the contraction for a brief moment, and then let go. Begin with 5 repetitions and gradually increase from there. It may seem peculiar initially, yet persevere through it. These subtle actions restore strength, enhance control, and reaffirm to your body that you remain in command. As we delve into the realm of muscles, it's worth noting another habit that many people surprisingly share. It is likely influencing your bladder each and every night. 5th habit, steering clear of physical exertion. Allow me to introduce you to Clara. At the age of 80, she resides with her son following a minor fall that occurred last winter. It understandably rattled her confidence. Since that time, she has primarily remained in bed or on the couch. For the sake of caution, she believed that by allowing herself more rest, she could foster her healing and maintain a sense of control. Yet an unforeseen event unfolded. Her bladder troubles intensified. Increased immediacy. Additional leaks, fewer alerts, and that left her in a state of bewilderment. She remained still, scarcely sipping, and did nothing to provoke it. However, there's an important point to consider. When your body ceases its motion, particularly the core and pelvic muscles, they start to lose strength. These are the essential muscles that provide support to your bladder, ensuring it remains securely in position. Consider it as the very base upon which a house is built. As it becomes pliable or precarious, all that rests above begins to move and droop. Many seniors, particularly women, hold the belief that resting is a safer option, one that shields them from the risks of falling or injuring themselves. However, excessive rest results in diminished muscle strength, impaired coordination, and a bladder that struggles to maintain its former resilience. There's no requirement to engage in marathons or heft weights. Even a soft ambulation through the home, a brief meander down the corridor, or seated exercises targeting your legs and lower core can serve to reawaken those muscles once more. Consider engaging in straightforward actions such as marching in place from your seat or gently contracting your abdominal muscles as you take a breath. Modest strides, in a very real sense, can lead to significant enhancements in bladder control and a boost in overall confidence. At times, the concern lies not in the actions of your body, but rather in the substances you choose to introduce into it that may be the root of the problem. This leads us to the 6th habit, consuming foods that irritate the bladder. Helen has reached the age of 73. She has always possessed a certain passion for culinary delights. She delights in her fiery dinners, savors citrus fruits at dawn, and indulges in the rare diet soda. Yet in recent times, her nights have grown tumultuous, awakening repeatedly in the night, urgency driving me to the bathroom, at times failing to arrive in time, Initially, she believed it was merely the passage of time. Yet, she began to observe a recurring theme. The evenings filled with the heat of spicy dishes. Or perhaps oranges. Or perhaps that beverage sweetened without calories. The nights were nothing short of dreadful. Let me unveil the truth behind the scenes. Certain foods, including those deemed healthy, have the potential to irritate the delicate lining of your bladder, rendering it more sensitive, inflamed, and reactive. Frequent culprits encompass zesty sauces, tomato-laden meals, citrus delights such as oranges and grapefruits, salads drenched in vinegar, and even the presence of artificial sweeteners, particularly in diet sodas or snacks devoid of sugar. It is a common fallacy to believe that a food deemed healthy is universally beneficial for every aspect of the body. However, your bladder possesses its own unique sensitivities, and what may be perfectly acceptable for your heart or digestion could prove to be quite unkind to the lower regions. Here are your options. Begin a bladder diary to meticulously document your dietary intake and fluid consumption, noting the moments when your symptoms intensify. Patterns you never anticipated may begin to reveal themselves. Gradually diminish or replace those foods that trigger your reactions. Rather than orange juice, consider opting for apple or pear. Choose mild, bladder-friendly herbs over spicy salsa. Managing your bladder isn't about sacrificing everything you cherish. It's about discovering what suits your body best. Yet, even when you consume the appropriate beverages, engage in physical activity, and steer clear of bothersome foods, everything else will fade into insignificance if you continue to cling to this persistent habit, one that subtly exacerbates your situation with each passing day. 7th habit. Retaining it for an extended period. Let us engage in a discussion about Deborah. At 75, she remains as sharp as ever, impeccably put together at all times. She delights in gathering with her friends for book club meetings and savoring Sunday brunch together. Yet, there is one thing she loathes: the need to excuse herself to visit the restroom in public. She convinced herself it was a matter of etiquette, that to interrupt a conversation would be impolite, or that the experience of using public bathrooms was tinged with embarrassment or discomfort. Thus, she would grasp it firmly and maintain that grip, It was an ordinary day, and as she made her way home from a gathering, the unexpected occurred. A breach. Surprising. Unrestrained. And even more, it was a source of deep humiliation. She pondered, how could this come to pass? I found myself in a moment of hesitation, striving to avert an impending mishap by simply biding my time. However, there is a truth that remains hidden from the majority. When you retain your urine for an extended period, you are, in fact, pushing your bladder beyond its limits of comfort. Similar to the way a rubber band can become overstretched, your bladder may also lose its elasticity and strength. The muscles begin to lose their strength. The signals to proceed grow increasingly ambiguous. As the years pass, your bladder begins to exhibit a certain reluctance to comply. A prevalent myth suggests that retaining urine strengthens the bladder over time. Yet, the reality stands in stark contrast. You're putting in too much effort. You are exceeding the limits of its intended capabilities. Instead, heed the whispers of your body. Make it a point to visit the restroom every 2-4 hours, even if the urge is merely slight, particularly prior to stepping out the door or preparing to retire for the evening. As you cultivate consistency, you will find yourself wielding greater control over your circumstances. At this moment, we have engaged in discussions about beverages, body alignment, physical strength, mobility, and routines. Yet, all of this may remain in the shadows if you continue to commit one of the most detrimental and frequently ignored errors of all. Habit 8. Failing to communicate with your physician. I would like to present Eileen to you. Eileen, at the age of 78, embraces her role as a proud grandmother to 6 cherished grandchildren. For years, she silently navigated the challenges of leaks, urgency, and those late-night excursions to the bathroom. Yet, she remained silent before her doctor. What is the reason behind this? Because she wished to avoid being an inconvenience. She considered bladder issues to be far too intimate, exceedingly mortifying. Moreover, she held the conviction that it was merely an aspect of the aging process. On a particular Sunday, as the melodies flowed from the church choir, she experienced that unmistakable feeling once more, and this time, It was far more than a mere trickle. She experienced a complete mishap right there in the presence of friends and family. She felt utterly shattered. However, the moment that truly took her by surprise was when she finally confided in her doctor about it, and she discovered the truth. Simple and discreet treatments were readily available. Moreover, her symptoms were indeed linked to a mild bladder condition that was manageable. Urinary issues in older women should not be dismissed as merely a natural consequence of aging. Such symptoms may indicate the presence of urinary tract infections, pelvic organ prolapse, excessively active bladder syndrome, shifts in hormonal balance. There are also responses to medications, and many of these present non-surgical, low-risk alternatives. Engaging in pelvic therapy, making dietary adjustments, utilizing medications, implementing bladder training plans, and simply altering your daily habits. Yet, none of those remedies will aid you if you choose to remain silent. Your physician is present to assist you, not to pass judgment. They have listened to every word. Rest assured, you are not solitary in this experience. Inhale deeply. Answer the call. Be sure to schedule that appointment. Engaging in a conversation with your doctor could very well be the catalyst for restoring your confidence. Having explored these 8 impactful habits, it's time to reflect on their true significance for your life, your dignity, and your sense of freedom. Existing in a constant state of anxiety over a potential bathroom mishap, your body may seem to be turning against you. It feels as though trust has become a fleeting notion. One finds oneself perpetually on the lookout for the closest lavatory, fretting over outfit choices, beverage selections, and the perfect moment to step outside, or if you ought to at all. And gradually, almost imperceptibly, your world begins to contract, declining invitations, remaining indoors as a precaution, pausing to find the right moment to laugh, to take a step further, or to settle in for a while. One may experience a profound sense of solitude, awkward, even disgraceful. Yet, let me share a truth that resonates deeply. At this very moment, you are not alone. Countless women are enduring the same struggle in silence. Many of them believe it's merely the cost of growing older, that the moment for change has passed. The harm has been inflicted. Yet, it is not. Far from it. This transcends mere leak prevention. It delves into a realm far more profound. The journey is one of reclaiming your confidence, the essence of your happiness, your tranquility. Your sense of self-worth, because you are worthy of feeling at ease within your own skin. To enter any space with confidence, to embrace life in its entirety, unencumbered by the constraints of restroom schedules. Allow me to pose this question. Did any of those 8 habits resonate with you? Have you noticed a decrease in your water intake? Neglecting physical activity? Suppressing it for the sake of courtesy? Steering clear of that discussion with your physician? If you identified even a single one of those, that marks your beginning. Only a minor adjustment this week. Perhaps it involves dedicating 5 minutes to pelvic floor exercises just before drifting off to sleep. Perhaps it's swapping out the 3rd cup of coffee for a refreshing glass of water. Perhaps it's time to reach out to your doctor and finally address the matter. No matter what it may be, embrace that leap forward. This journey transcends the notion of perfection. It revolves around advancement. With each alteration you embrace, you draw nearer to liberation. Liberty from trepidation. Out of sheer embarrassment. Emerging from the hushed embarrassment that remains unspoken, yet is a reality for countless individuals. Allow me to reiterate, you are not broken. You possess strength. You are certainly not by yourself. You possess remarkable strength as a woman, with insight, with tales to share and moments yet to savor. Hope exists. Solutions exist. And there remains an opportunity to rediscover your true self. Silence need not be your companion. This does not have to be your new reality. Embrace the opportunity to take a single, meaningful step today. Your value is undeniable. Your comfort is of utmost importance, for the simple reason that you are worthy of experiencing freedom once more. Let us pause for a moment to softly reflect on the insights we've gathered today. The 8 habits that physicians caution senior women against, enabling you to gain control and confidence, are 1. Bypassing water, believing it will avert leaks. 2. Consuming excessive amounts of caffeine, such as from coffee or soda, often without awareness, can provoke your bladder. 3. Subpar posture, particularly during extended stretches of sitting, exerts undue pressure in areas where it ought not to be. 4. Overlooking your pelvic floor can be a grave mistake, especially when dedicating just 5 minutes a day to Kegels could transform your well-being. 5. Shunning physical activity, when soft movements can truly fortify the muscles that enable you to maintain control. 6. If 6. Consuming foods that irritate the bladder, such as citrus fruits, spicy sauces, or artificial sweeteners, often without awareness of their inflammatory effects. 7. Retaining it for an extended period can lead to bladder overstretching, increasing the likelihood of leaks. And 8. Failing to communicate with your physician. It may be the most crucial aspect where assistance is available, and you are worthy of it. Let us inhale deeply together. There's no requirement to tackle all 8 simultaneously. Yet perhaps, just perhaps, there exists a single habit you could begin to transform today. That solitary step might draw you a fraction nearer to liberation, to provide solace, for tranquility of the spirit. Allow me to pose a question that comes from a place of sincerity. Which of these caught you off guard the most? Have you encountered any of these in your own journey? I invite you to scroll down and share your thoughts in the comments below. In our moments of vulnerability, we create a space where others can find solace in shared experiences, reminding them they are not alone in their struggles. Your narrative could serve as the inspiration that another soul desperately seeks. If this video has illuminated your understanding of your body, provided clarity, or offered a touch of comfort, might I ask you for a small favor? We offer genuine conversation, practical solutions, and authentic hope, tailored just for you. Here, in this very moment, each day unfolds. Your well-being is of utmost importance. Your comfort is of utmost importance. Your existence holds significance. I truly appreciate the time we've shared together today. I trust that by the end of this video, you will feel acknowledged, understood, and perhaps a touch more empowered. Remain resilient. Remain resilient. Maintain your sense of wonder. And as ever, continue to embrace life with both wisdom and courage. Until we meet again in the next video.